Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start talking about relations and functions. Now, a relation is exactly what it sounds like, just like a relationship. A relation is any mathematical statement that connects two variables. Now, in this case, I'm going to connect x and y. So y equals 3x. That is a relation. And the relationship is that I take 3 times every x, and that would give me y. Now, to show a relationship, I can make a t-table. The reason we call it a t-table is because I draw a giant T. On this side, I'm going to put x, and on this side, I'm going to put y. Now, these x values, these are called my domain. My domain. The things that I can control. If things are in my domain, they're things I'm in charge of. Versus this side over here, which is going to be called the range. So I have domain and range. Now, in this case, since I can control what's in the domain, let's put some numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, to determine what the y value is, I use the relationship. Now, sometimes we can even put the relationship right here in the t-table. So we would say 3 times 0 equals 0. 3 times 1 equals 3. 3 times 2 equals 6. 3 times 3 equals 9. Okay, so we now have our x's, we have the relationship that we're given, and then we have the results from that relationship. Now, at this point, we can do a number of things with those. One thing I could do is I could plot them. This would be 0, 0, because x, y. This would be 1, 3. Down here, I would have 2, 6, 3, 9. And I could begin plotting this relationship. And you'll notice I start getting this line going through here. Now we'll come back and talk about those in just a little bit. But this is a relationship. Now, we can have other types of relationships, but if we have a relationship that is appropriate, if we have a relationship where for every one x there is one and only one y, that relationship is no longer just a relation, it's actually a function. So think about it in terms of this way. There's lots of different relationships, but if you have a relationship that functions appropriately, that means there's going to be only one x that is loyal to one y. So you have a relationship in that sense. Now, in our case, anytime I put in 0, I get 0. Anytime I put in 1, I get 3. Anytime I put in 2, I get 6. Let's take a look at a different relationship. If I have a relationship that looks like this, x squared plus y squared equals 3. That's actually the equation of a circle. And it would look like this. Now, if I made a table of these values, x and y, at 0 for x, I could go up to positive 3. But the thing is, I don't only go to 3. There's a circle above it, but there's also a circle below it. So it could be 0, negative 3. If I were over here at 1, I could plug 1 in. I say 1 squared plus y squared equals 3. Y squared equals 3 minus 1. Y squared equals 2. Y equals the square root of 2. So I would get 1.41. That would be up, but wait a minute, I have the circle down here too. It would also be down. So negative 1 also goes with negative 1.41. In this case, this is a relation, but it is not a function. Because although it describes how to get from x to y, the 0 could either go with the 3 or the 0 could go with the negative 3. It's like trying to have two girlfriends at once. It is not going to function appropriately. Over here, for every one x, there is one and only one y. And the way we're going to work with all of these functions is a t-table. Now in your book, they do the t-table just a little bit differently. They give you x, and they give you actually 3 columns. So 0, 1, 2, and you would say 0 plus 3, and then they'd have the y column of what you get out of it. Okay? So you could write them like this, or you could write them together in one column like I've done. Either way is fine, but for every problem, you have to have the x, you have to show the work, you have to give the y. We'll get to graphing them a little bit later, but the idea is for everything, every 0 I get, I'm always going to get a 3. For every 1 I get, I'm always going to get a 4, and for every 2 I get, I'm always going to get a 5. So with that, those are your basics of relations and functions. A function is for every x or domain, there is only one y or range value. Okay, there you go. Take a look at that.